This is Solar Impulse TV, and you're watching the last 0:30 GMT briefing of this flight, this historic flight from Nagoya to Hawaii. And I'm with Miki, our flight director, who was just saying he can't believe what he's looking at. And look at this, 7,357 kilometers. But the most impressive of all is this: 4 days, 6 hours, 28 minutes, and 30 seconds since André Borschberg took off. And he's still going, he's still healthy, he's still flying. You were in touch with him, you've been in touch with him in the front room of the Mission Control Center here in Monaco. And can you believe what you're seeing?
No, not. I just discussed that with him, because in about maybe 2 hours he will see the first islands of the Hawaii Islands there, and that's just unbelievable for him as well. And you work here day by day, shift by shift, and I spent now the last 12 hours here as the flight director with the rest of the team. And we suddenly came from only waypoints on an ocean to the islands inside.
Sorry to cut you off there, Mickey. We're going to go down to the Mission Control Center because our special guest is here. Prince Albert of Monaco is actually speaking to André.
Voir comment ça va, et je suis ça de près. J'étais à une soirée caritative, alors je suis ici en smoking, ce qui a surpris un peu tout le monde, mais je suis très content de voir que tout va bien.
C'est un plaisir de vous entendre. Bonsoir. C'est vrai que je trouve que ça devait être surprenant, mais je était là aussi avec une soirée, donc c'est dans les habitudes. Donc ça se passe super bien, Vous pouvez dire, je suis peut-être triste déjà d'arriver parce que je vis une expérience tellement grandiose que j'ai de la peine à m'habituer au fait que maintenant c'est bientôt la fin. J'ai pas l'impression aussi, je ne suis pas, je peux maintenir le même rythme, la même énergie, le même état d'esprit. Donc je suis un peu dans l'état fatigué, déjà, mais je suis pas arrivé, j'en peux plus, au contraire, en fait. On n'a pas honte, et comment préparer avec cette équipe, on a toujours cette mission réaliste et réalisable. C'est extraordinaire.
Oui, ça a l'air extraordinaire, et je vois les images de la nacelle là, et c'est vrai que ça a l'air très beau, et enfin une belle luminosité, et c'est vrai que le Pacifique est beau quand on est à cette altitude là, et puis qu'on sait qu'on arrive près du but. Mais je comprends que vous sentiez.
On a parlé d'aller nager.
C'est vrai que ça donne envie.
Non, mais ce qui est aussi intéressant, c'est vrai que depuis un petit jour, je vois un peu de l'eau et du nuage, et puis ça m'a fait penser en fait à tous ces navigateurs qui partaient à la découverte du nouveau monde, sans savoir vraiment ce qu'ils trouvaient quelque chose, et puis l'état d'esprit qu'il peut avoir, vous voyez, une terre, en fait, après 1, 2, 3 mois de navigation. Ça peut être aussi complètement délirant, le sentiment. Je ne suis pas si loin du l'état GPS qui me dit ouais, c'est complètement un problème. Mais je peux m'imaginer comment ça peut être à l'époque.
Ah ouais, c'est sûr que c'était l'aventure avec un grand A aussi à ce moment-là, mais c'est vrai que c'est une autre navigation.
On essaie de découvrir d'autres manières de faire, ça se dépend aussi. C'est d'autres formes de découverte, c'est d'autres formes d'aventure. Ça peut être aussi passionnant, mais c'est vrai qu'on reste dans d'autres univers qu'on connaît déjà assez bien et qu'on a bien exploré, quoi.
Non, mais c'est formidable. Et André, et comment vont les jambes? Est-ce que vous arrivez à les sentir?
Ça va. Oui, non, ça va pas mal parce que je fais des petits programmes de yoga à certains moments. Maintenant, je suis un petit peu bloqué par cette équipe d'oxygène, donc j'ai quelques heures où je suis un peu bloqué et je peux pas trop bouger. Donc c'est vrai que là, c'est plus ennuyeux. C'est la partie que j'aime le moins. Mais sans ça, manier la toute petite taille du cockpit, là, j'ai développé, j'ai pris des positions de yoga que j'applique et ça me relaxe beaucoup. Donc en fait, finalement, j'ai pas de problème d'articulation, j'ai pas l'impression que j'ai des muscles sous tension. Ça va pas, mais ça fait pas souffrir en tout cas. Donc c'était une bonne manière de gérer le corps et peut-être l'esprit aussi. Deux choses sont toujours à pallier. Hein.
Bon, mais il faudra faire quand même, il faudra préparer l'arrivée parce que quand vous sortirez du cockpit après, après 5 jours comme ça va, c'est pas évident de faire les premiers pas.
Ah oui. Ouais, il faudrait aller un petit peu doucement, je pense, se faire se lever, etc. Il va y avoir un peu de minutes d'adaptation, on verra, mais je pense que c'est juste qu'il faut pas direct sauter sur la chaîne et puis pas être très logiquement, quoi. Je fais mon petit yoga encore là dans la partie de la nuit. C'est ce qu'on a fait, moi je vais arriver à Hawaï ce soir. Et puis je vais rester en l'air encore cette nuit. Ça me permet de faire pas mal de choses, de me reposer, etc. Et puis de me poser au pied du soleil. Je prends encore quelques photos avec l'hélicoptère. Et puis, et d'avoir le presse aussi posé aussi. C'est un moment, la vie du soleil, c'est un moment extraordinaire. Donc ça vaut la peine de faire ce moment. Si on arrive techniquement, mais pour l'instant, j'ai l'impression que pour l'instant, ça va, quoi. Donc, j'espère que c'est pas mieux comme ça.
Non, mais je suis sûr que ça va bien continuer comme ça et ça va être une superbe arrivée. En tout cas, je serai là aussi pour l'arrivée, donc je veux pas rater ça.
Alors, on se parlera à ce moment-là encore.
Ok, merci beaucoup André. Bon vol, bonne fin de
À
vol.
bientôt.
Merci beaucoup.
Bonne nuit, hein.
Ben
Bonne
oui,
nuit à vous, hein.
ben oui, là je vais me coucher.
Bon.
Merci, à
Bientôt.
bientôt.
Demain.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
You've been listening to Prince Albert of Monaco, our patron here in Monaco at Monte Carlo in the Mission Control Center, speaking to Andre, just giving him some words of encouragement as we reach the final phases now before we start to see Hawaii. That's going to happen in a few hours' time, it really will happen. And also just asking about his legs, because he's a big guy, Andre Washberg, been in that plane for 4 days, 6 hours, 36 minutes. For anyone to be in a plane that long, you could have problem with deep vein thrombosis, but he was just saying that he is able to stretch. I've got the flight director, Mickey Younger, who's with me right now, and he can actually stretch his legs out full if he lies back and touches the roof of the cockpit. He does that, doesn't he? He does his exercises and does yoga.
Yes, to keep his body awake, let's say, or mobile, he can flatten the seat down and then do exercises, yoga, stretching, some compressions of the muscles and so on. So he can work on that, and he really does a lot of that, especially in the morning, to keep himself fit and yeah.
And we're still in energy positive. If we can look at the battery state of charge screen to see where we are. Now, all the indications are green, and this is mode 1. So sun and battery powering the aircraft according to this, but we are heading up towards the point of energy neutral evening when the plane will be in energy negative mode and the batteries will be doing all the work. Now, are you content with what you're seeing here?
Yes, I am. No, it's we are in climb, as you say, and it's working well. We have small problems with the battery temperature, so we are actually managing the power going in and out. But it's working well. But tough day, I would say, for him, for us. But now it's looking good towards the next 2 hours. Then in about 2 hours, the batteries will be full. Yes, here we see a trend in 1 hour from 78% to 88, and then 1 hour later to full battery state of charge. And it's roughly 2 hours before energy neutral evening.
We spoke to electrical engineer Martin Pfister, who is normally sitting in the front room on secondment from Schindler. He was checking closely the overheating of the batteries. Now, we looked in a bit more detail about that. It's to do with the insulation that the batteries were getting on the first day, and you've been trying to limit the amount the batteries overheat. You're trying to get them to charge more slowly. Have you managed to find a solution, or are you still just monitoring the situation to make sure that we get to Hawaii okay?
No, we found a solution, or we acted since 4 days already on this problem, because we saw it coming, that it's day by day our battery temperature was increasing, mainly because of the insulation of the batteries. They were too good insulated, and as we did not have so much experience of such a flight, like 5 days, you always see some new things in your system, even by doing a lot of testing. Actually, it's the setup of cells, how dense they are towards each other, and so the inner cells are much warmer than the outer ones because they're cooled through the airstream. So that's a challenge to simulate or to design in that sense, because I don't want to say the engineers did a bad job. They did a really excellent job on this aircraft, and especially what we did on the first day, our maintenance flight with a special profile. We also stretched the battery temperatures to quite an extent.
And as you say, we couldn't really know until we'd done it. No one has ever done a flight this long in a solar-powered plane, and no one ever has done a solo flight this long. It's been quite some time now since André beat that record, which was set by Steve Foster in 2006 when he went around the world in a plane which did use fuel, 76 hours, and now we're way beyond the 100-hour mark. Let's look now at the flight path. We can have a look at that. We can start looking into the future. Okay, right now, first of all, Michi, whereabouts are we? We've gone past the start point that is marked here now.
Yes, we are at this start point in this simulation, yes. It's the newest one we have available at the moment, yeah.
Okay, and we will see, we believe, in around about 6 hours, start to see the islands.
Or earlier, I guess.
Even earlier?
I talked to him and he said, yeah, he can anticipate already. But I think when he's here somewhere, he could already see Barking Sands, this island here, the airport here and on this island. And he's climbing. He's actually overhead the front. So since 1 hour he's overhead the front, and it takes 2 more hours to completely pass it. And then he can descend again with our energy profile towards Hawaii.
Now, this second front, the front we always had to cross around this time, was one of the main reasons that we couldn't take off for weeks and weeks and weeks. In the end, how did it go?
Well, the first front was now really good, as the second front is going at the moment. It's not too high. We talk about the weakening front with tops maybe at 12,000, 14,000 feet. Nearly no precipitation below. Precipitation gives also turbulence because of the air masses moving and so on. So it's really a great job of our meteorologists Luc and Wim, and it's actually going well. And we had to wait very long for this window because it was blocked. It was kind of a blocked situation for weeks, and that's we tried it to Nagoya. Out of Nanjing to Hawaii, and then we saw it's again closing, so we had to stop in Nagoya, and out of Nagoya it became true.
Well, Luke called it the weather window of the year, and I'm just going to speak to our TV team now just to see, can we see the animation, the outro animation, which gives you an idea of the cloud patterns over the Pacific. Can we see that? Yes, we can. Okay, now this is Solar Impulse 2.
Now we are heading north in a corridor towards northeast, and actually when this green point stops, it's a holding, and now we are doing a holding, you see, and then we cross this front here now, and then we continue further in quite a nice corridor. This was Solar Day 3 and 4, and then actually the next holding to cross the front here, you see it coming a bit. Actually on this chart you see only clouds which are above the aircraft, so don't underestimate that, because if you watch the live, you will see that everywhere below us there are low-level clouds, and they also go up to a certain extent, to a certain altitude. And there also it's a challenge to find the right spot where they're not so high, to have a good night loitering altitude at very low altitude to save energy.
Let's look now at the planning tool, the plateau graph, the last one that we've received. And we're heading now towards our last energy neutral evening, which is coming up here. That's going to be around, just before 4 GMT, 400 GMT. So heading up to this climb now, and then, this is incredible, isn't it? We're then just heading now towards the final descent after we reach the energy neutral evening point.
Exactly, and energy neutral evening, you see, and then later on, 2 hours more, and we are already in an outer holding of Kalaeloa approach, and you see, we wait there for about 4 hours and then 2 more hours until landing. So actually people can see us already at night there flying around. We will be very close in the southwest of Kalaeloa. And as I said, we are already close, 6 hours away.
A final word about pilot health. We've been talking about the accumulated fatigue. Obviously, André can sleep for a maximum of 20 minutes. We try and get as many of those periods in throughout every resting slot that he has. At the same time, it's building up and he's more and more fatigued. Now, I know that one of the reasons for wanting to stay in this holding to keep André above the air rather than letting him land as soon as he sees Hawaii was because he has rest periods booked. I spoke to one of the team earlier. Would you say this is the best way to describe it? He wants to land at sunrise and also land when he's not in what would be a resting period.
Exactly, he wants to land when his body feels fit, and he always is very fit in the morning. And we discussed this since years, where to land, or if it's worth to wait 8 more hours, because waiting 8 more hours, it's also a risk in the airplane. Actually, if we would have arrived a bit earlier, like 2 hours, 3 hours before sunset overhead, we might have decided differently to land with sunset. But actually, we will just wait. He will get his rest and will be fit in his mind to do this approach. The approach itself should be fine, but nevertheless, after such a long flight, you can imagine that he's very excited, nervous. If it's a bit gusty, it might be a challenge. So it's a new airfield. It's after the night, and it's after such a long flight. So. Certainly a big challenge still, even if it's nice weather.
Yes, and I don't know how he's doing it, but then I don't know how he's managed to stay in the plane this long. With all the adrenaline you must be feeling, all the excitement, to be able to calm your body down during these final hours before landing.
Yeah, unbelievable, André.
Well, he's managed to make it this long and do unbelievable things. It's been extraordinary. This is, I don't think we can underestimate just how extraordinary this is. And I know that there are many, many journalists who are waiting at Kalaeloa Airport. I think around about 50 are expected to be there on landing. There's going to be a huge welcoming committee for him as well. The family are there. I know that Ella, I spoke to earlier, is there, André's daughter, and Theo, and of course his wife Yasmin, who was there to see him at takeoff. Thank you very much for being with us today, Michi, Flight Director Extraordinaire. And, we are now into those final phases. Next thing to look out for is energy neutral evening. This is the point when André has reached the maximum altitude of 28,000 feet, and it marks the phase when we go from being energy positive to energy negative. That means the batteries will be doing all the work from now until sunrise. Thank you very much, and we will be back soon. Stay with us. We'll be giving you the information on our website of when we have the next update. It's going to be changing a bit now. We won't be having another energy neutral morning show like we have had for the last few days. In fact, the next big show will be the landing show. We're going to stay with you for quite some time. We wanted to live the whole process with André, with you. We'll be speaking to him. We're speaking to many of the guests who we are expecting here in the studio. It's funny, at this time in the morning, 2:30 Monaco time, there are never that many guests. I can't imagine why. I will leave you with the latest Paper Planes video, and this is our campaign, which is on our website, futureisclean.org, and we want millions of people, that includes you, if you haven't done it yet, to sign up to futureisclean.org. We want concrete actions for a clean future, and we can have some fun as well. Send a paper plane around the world, and the latest video, I think, is the one we're going to see now. Thank you very much, and we will speak to you soon here on Solar Impulse TV.
catch it?
Because it doesn't matter. And I said, yeah, you can do that, but then you will not make it to the next morning. And he wants to do this morning shot.
So what did he say after that?
Hmm? Oh.
He said if it's difficult enough, then he's going to go down